Out to the coastline we go. Another really nice looking sunset around the area, but the low clouds have been hanging very nearby. They're pushing back in again. As we talked about in first weather, a heat wave is redeveloping in the interior. It's going to take a few days, but everybody's going to see those temperatures slowly notch up. It's Pismo Beach 805 webcams, our time lapse today. You can see how we were in and out of the clouds, but at least the sun did come out to play for a while. But clouds are moving in right now. Lompoc Valley into the Santa Ynez Valley, Santa Maria Valley, down the Los Osos Valley. And I think we'll get a little penetration into the southern Salinas River Valley a little later on tonight. However, I don't think that's going to stop temperatures from continuing to warm in the interior. I like temperatures already back into the mid 90s or better, and we're headed into the 100+ range there. The coastal valleys will warm back into the 80s. So these really mild temperatures of the last few days are going away. I'll explain why in just a second. For the south coast, though, there's enough north to south wind here that I do think we'll see some fairly good clarity, especially out the western edge by the Gaviota Pass. We had a couple of pretty big earthquakes, at least in relative terms, here in California today. We saw one out north of Palm Springs, another one northeast of Las Vegas. It felt in both Las Vegas and Los Angeles. The thing is, every year, you only get about 10 to 15 of these size quakes. We get many more of the smaller quakes. In fact, we get thousands of them. So yes, activity is common, but activity like we saw today was significant. No damage reported. Now, there are a number of significant fires going on around the state. Richard was talking about the one up by Paradise, and of course we have the one out in Kern County is still producing some smoke, so occasionally some haze to the skies. Again, the marine influence is in there, mid-50s at the coast. We're 60s, 70s in the interior. Temperatures in the interior are warmer than 24 hours ago. At the coast, we're generally cooler because of the marine layer. And just looking at the winds here, fairly light right now, so we're not going to be able to transport much of that cooler air into the interior anymore. So right now we have this southwesterly flow aloft, and that has given us some very mild temperatures here over the last few days. But watch what happens here as we get even into tomorrow morning. Already this trough is moving off to the east and a ridge is building in. And once the ridge does start to set up here later on this week, it just stays in place. Through Wednesday, through Thursday, and even into next week. What's interesting about this, it is going to open the door for some monsoon potential next week as well. In fact, even later this week, we'll have to watch for that in parts of California. So this is a long-lasting heat wave that we could see here. The 8 to 14 day from the Climate Prediction Center goes above average, both on heat and on monsoon potential. So it's all things we'll be watching here in the forecast. Speaking of which, here you go, 96 Paso Robles, 84 San Luis, 74 Santa Maria and Lompoc, and 72 in Santa Barbara. North Coast beaches, mid-60s, not bad. Some 70s at Avila Beach, and again, we're in a transition tomorrow as the high pressure starts to build in. Shandon, 95 degrees, so pretty decent gradient between the warmer interior and the cooler coast. Santa Ynez, 81, 76 Goleta, 72 Forest and Carpinteria. And here is the 7-day forecast. Look at that. 100, 105 possible by the weekend in the interior. Slow warms up into the mid 80s. Santa Maria temperatures closer to 80 by the weekend. And Santa Barbara goes from the low 70s to the mid 70s.